The Tyrant's Beloved Empress. Chapter 7. Childhood nickname Nu No. Changqi had once been the cause of Changqing's nightmare for a long time. Changqing had been gifted with beauty since birth. When he was still an adolescent and his features had not fully developed, he had an androgynous appearance. Girls were jealous of him for he looked prettier than themselves, while the boys hated him for being too feminine. For a long time, he had spent his childhood in darkness, locked in the woodshed. The only one who ever reached out to him was Changqi. As the only child of the second branch, Changqi had been showered with affection the moment he was born. He was 5 years older than Changqing. When Changqing was 12, Changqi was already a young man of 16 to 17. In addition to the eldest grandson, Changyu, he was one of the old matriarch's favorite grandchildren. After he had reprimanded the other younger children and rescued Changqing from the woodshed, Changqing really did admire and respect this brother. Changqi had also been good to him since then, always saving him from the bullies and buying him delicious snacks and beautiful clothes. If it wasn't on his 12th birthday when Changqi had tried to rape him, everything would have been fine. Changqing could vividly recall that day in the spring. His birthday was on the 15th day of the second month, the exact day of the spring equinox. The entire family was preparing for the spring banquet, but no one remembered that the third young master had also been born on this day. After eating the longevity noodles that his mother had cooked for him, Changqing was about to go gather some herbs when Changqi had gone to see him. Changqi had seemed particularly happy that day, and Changqing could still remember his every word. "Third brother, today is your birthday. I have prepared a present for you, do you want to see it?" The naive Changqing had happily followed him, never doubting that he was being led into an empty room to fulfill Changqi's desires. At that moment, Changqi had completely shown his true face. Speaking words of affection while his eyes were filled with lust as he had tried to talk Changqing into submission. Although Changqing had been naive, he wasn't a fool. He had grabbed a brass candlestick and hit him on the head. While Changqi had been distracted by the pain, he had climbed out the window and jumped into the rockscape pond. Because Changqi did not know how to swim and a servant happened to be passing by, Changqing had managed to escape that traumatizing ordeal. But after that event, Changqi completely tore off his mask. He no longer stood up for him and had even instigated the others to bully him. When they happened to meet, his eyes had been those of a hungry wolf wanting to eat him alive. Changqing's life since then had gotten a lot harder. Apart from having to deal with the malice in his own family, he even had to avoid the young master of the second branch. Until after Changqi turned 18 and had married, only then did Changqing have better days and eventually, managed to put this matter behind him. It's just that he had always assumed that apart from Changqi and himself, no one else had known about this disgusting event. To think that Zhikao had always known. If he knew that Changqi had once treated him well, then how could he not know the misdeeds Changqi did to him later on? As the head of the family, how could he not know the reason for this change? Moreover, after getting out of the pond, he had been pale and shivering due to the cold and fear. He hadn't returned to Linghong Garden in order to not worry his mother. He could only carry a fickle hope and ran to his father, but Zhikao did not even want to hear him. He had given him a scolding and driven him back to Linghong Garden. At that time, Changqing had only thought that Zhikao did not like him. But now he clearly understood, Zhikao had been well aware of what had happened, he just did not want to sow discord with Zhizhou over an unimportant son and hence, he had feigned ignorance. When hatred had reached a certain depth, only a burst of emptiness remained. Looking at Zhikao in fury, Changqing suddenly laughed, "You want me to let him go? I don't think so. If Changqi dies, what kind of reaction do you think second uncle and his wife will have?" His voice was drifting like a ghost's, making Xiao Zhiga incredibly worried. He called out to him softly. "What are going to do? And Zhikao saw the malevolence in his eyes and frowned. He softened his tone, "You'll gain nothing from killing him. Why don't you let him see the doctor first? After that, everything else is up to you." And Changqing sneered, "Do you think I'm as gullible as a 3-year-old? He then pulled out a dagger and slowly walked towards An Changqi, who had passed out due to the pain. Changqing. Xiao Zhiga saw what he was about to do and held him back. And Changqing turned to look at him with emptiness in his eyes. Xiao Zhiga was deeply concerned. He gently caressed his face and whispered in his ears, "I'm here, do not dirty your hands." And Changqing lowered his hand and Xiao Zhiga seized the chance and forcefully retrieved the dagger from his grip. He then threw it in the grass and approached An Changqi with his spear in hand. "Wangye!" And Zhikao exclaimed. He wanted to come forward but was paralyzed by the ferocity in his eyes. For a moment, he could only stay rooted in place. "Prime Minister An does not have to worry, I will not kill him." Xiao Zhiga cast him a sinister smile. Like a debt-collecting demon, he chopped off An Changqi's privates with his spear. Being struck with another pang of severe pain, the unconscious An Changqi woke up and covered his crotch area. He uttered a shrill cry before passing out again. In the withered grass where he laid, a pool of blood was forming under his body. Xiao Zhiga retrieved his spear and looked at the flabbergasted An Zhikao. Implying a threat, he said, "I've spared his life, the rest is up to Prime Minister An to deal with. I don't suppose you'll be willing to address this matter in front of His Majesty with me, right?" And Zhikao knew that An Changqi was the one at fault. Moreover, him harboring an indecent lust for his cousin was an unacceptable scandal that would tarnish the An family's 100-year reputation. And Zhikao could only grit his teeth and concede to Xiao Zhiga's threat. Seeing the blood-soaked An Changqi, he hastily bowed and called for someone to carry him away. When no outsiders were around anymore, Xiao Zhiga tenderly touched An Changqing's cheek. He sighed, "Why are you so foolish? Killing him is too merciful. And you'll be taking the blame for An Zhikao. Let me teach you how to get your revenge." Xiao Zhiga rubbed the corner of his red eyes. An Changqi will definitely die in 3 days and An Zhikao will no longer know peace afterwards. How about that? An Changqing looked up at him. The brim of his eyes were thoroughly red but he stubbornly refused to cry. Although there was anger in his eyes, the sight of him gritting his teeth with wide-opened eyes was still endearing. Xiao Zhiga sighed. He placed An Changqing's head on his shoulder and the powerful hand gently patted his back. "If you want to cry, go ahead." And Changqing opened his mouth and wailed as his tears flowed down uncontrollably, wetting Xiao Zhiga's shoulder. Xiao Zhiga continued to stroke his back slowly. His movements, although unnatural, were extremely gentle. And Changqing cried in his arms for a long time before calming down. He sniffed and said in a dull voice, "Thank you." Xiao Zhiga rubbed his red eyes, "You don't have to use this word with me." There was a faint sound of footsteps in the distance. Xiao Zhiga assumed he would not want to be seen in such a state and suggested, "Should we go back first?" And Changqing shook his head, "Let's visit mother first or she'll worry." Because An Changqing's eyes were still swollen, he did not want to go to the Linghong garden yet. Instead, he took Xiao Zhiga to an isolated part of the manor. He was silent for a while before pointing to a room right across the pond. "An Changqi lured me in there." Xiao Zhiga reached out to hold his hand. An Changqing's hand was cold and his voice was shaking but he went on, "But I did not let him touch me and even opened a hole in his head. He had to stay in bed for almost a month." As though he only needed someone to listen, he continued, "I've never understood. I'm also his son, why does he hate me so much? I used to think that it was because of my mother's background but now I think I know." His expression hardened as he came to a conclusion, "He had never seen me as his son at all. No father would feign ignorance when his child was attacked by his nephew." Xiao Zhiga's brows creased together. He was not good at comforting others. After racking his brains for a long time, he said, "The day I was born, the sky had turned ominous. My father once tried to drown me, but I narrowly survived and did not die. Later, my mother had to threaten him with her death in order to save my life. Although both of them did not deserve to be fathers, Emperor Anqing was probably the more unscrupulous of the two." And Changqing turned to look at Xiao Zhiga. Seeing that there was no sadness in his expression and only indifference, and Changqing's gloomy mood was lifted. "That's right, Xiao Zhiga was born in the imperial family. With his mother's early death and his father's loathing, he had to enlist into the army and fight at the border. The harsh conditions, the danger, and the sufferings, he had to endure it all by himself. And the unyielding northern warlord never had anyone to talk to. Compared to Xiao Zhiga, what he had gone through seemed minuscule." He grabbed Xiao Zhiga's sleeve to wipe his face and then smiled at him. "If he doesn't take me as his son, then I'll just take it as I don't have this father. It's not worth grieving over him." N. Xiao Zhiga touched his tear mole and said, "You still have me." The mighty northern warlord knew not how to sweet talk, but every word he said sunk deep into Changqing's heart. He looked at him in a trance, reflecting on his last life. Back then, if he did not fear Xiao Zhiga and went to him whenever he was wronged, and Changqing believed that this person would have stood by him no matter what. And Changqing leaned in and wrapped his arms around him. He felt the man's beating heart and said in an inaudible voice, "I'm sorry." Xiao Zhiga thought that he was still upset and started patting his back gently. "Let me take you to meet my mother." And Changqing fidgeted in his arms and raised his head. Xiao Zhiga lowered his eyes to look at the person in his embrace. The corners of his eyes were still red, but his lips had started to smile again. His voice was a little hoarse but filled with vigor. "All right." Xiao Zhiga's heart was tugged at and his eyes softened unconsciously. And Changqing used the Pan's reflection to tidy up his appearance. After which, he led Xiao Zhiga to the Linghong Garden. Linghong Garden was not large. It used to look magnificent, but due to neglect, the place had fallen apart. Before Xiao Zhiga even entered the premises, he was already frowning. And Changqing on the other hand had long been used to the dilapidated landscape. He stood outside the building and called cheerfully for his mother. And Xianyu was embroidering in the yard with the nanny when she heard his voice. She eagerly ran to him but froze up when she saw Xiao Zhiga beside him. She looked at Changqing timidly, not knowing how to address him. And Changqing saw her fear, but he knew her cowardice was not something he could fix in a short time. Without forcing her, he said kindly, "Where's mother? I brought Wangye to see her." No. A cough came from inside the house and a skinny woman appeared at the door, holding onto the door frame for support. She had on a thick cotton cloak and wore no jewelry, looking plain and ordinary. But when she lifted her head, her beautiful face could light up the shabby-looking environment. Even the old and faded cloak she was wearing became pleasing to the eyes. Xiao Zhiga looked at her, then back to his Wang Fei, who had run into her arms. It was just as the rumors had said, and Changqing mainly took after his mother. The only part he got from An Zhikao was the pair of phoenix eyes, which added a touch of nobility to his looks. When An Changqing finally saw his biological mother, who had been dead for many years, he rushed into her arms and his tears fell uncontrollably. After a while, he remembered that Xiao Zhiga was still watching and said to his mother in embarrassment, "I'm already 18. Mom, stop calling me no." Lady Yu touched his head lovingly, "No matter how old you are, you'll always be my no." And Changqing blushed and could only hope to change the subject. He went to grab Xiao Zhiga standing at the door and introduce him to his mother. "Mom, this is the Northern Warlord, I brought him here to see you." End chapter. The Tyrant's Beloved Empress. Chapter 8. Teaching Wang Fei. The Northern Warlord's reputation was known to all who lived in Yejing, or rather, the whole of Deya Empire. Naturally, Lady Yu would also have heard of his infamous temper. The Northern Warlord had made great accomplishments but did not receive any love. It was said that on the day he was born, the sky showed omens of great disasters, causing the emperor to demand his death. It was thanks to his mother, imperial concubine Li, who begged for his life in exchange for her death, that the emperor had spared Xiao's Higa, but since then, the mother and son had been cast aside. Losing the emperor's favor, they lived a difficult life, and several years later, imperial concubine Li committed suicide due to the hardship. After his mother's death, Xiao's Higa's situation deteriorated. No other concubines were willing to raise him, and in the end, he was left under the care of the Empress. But as though his fate was meant to be bitter, he could not get along with the Empress and the prince. It was also at this time that the rumor of him being ineligible to ascend to the throne began. The rumors also said that because he knew he had been cast aside, the northern warlord had turned unruly ever since, killing his servants at will. In Yanzhou, the corpses of people who died at his hands piled as high as his mansion's walls. Even the lanterns were made with human skin. All this information, Lady Yu had heard from Lady Liu's handmaid. She had been out of favor for many years, but Lady Liu would still find ways to upset her. Now that her only son had been forced to marry the infamous northern warlord, she had deliberately sent her personal maid to talk about him right outside her yard. Lady Yu was not an illiterate and ignorant woman, she knew that rumors were not to be trusted. But even so, with An Changqing's timid nature and the northern warlord's notorious temper, she had never dared to hope that they could get along. The day An Changqing had been forced into the sedan, she did not even get to see her son one last time. The torment had aggravated her illness, and only waiting for his homecoming could give her solace. Seeing An Changqing leading a tall man over with a blushing face and void of any visible wounds, Lady Yu was partially surprised but at the same time slightly alarmed. She hurriedly stood up to salute Xiao's Higa and reprimanded An Changqing, "How could you bring Wangye here to see me? This is not customary. Changqing's mother is also my mother." Xiao's Higa rushed to help her up. The allegedly ruthless warlord with lanterns made of human skin tried to smile kindly at her. Although his features were still fierce, it did not make one feel that he was unapproachable. "We're a family, there's no need for these formalities." After being helped into the room to sit down, Lady Yu could then take a closer look at Xiao's Higa. She found that the rumors were very much exaggerated, more than she could have ever imagined. Although, at first glance, Xiao's Higa always had a ferocious expression that repelled most people, the occasional glances he cast at An Changqing were kind and gentle. She was raised in a brothel and could easily judge a person's gaze. After carefully observing Xiao's Higa for a while, her heart became mostly at ease. In contrast, seeing her haggard appearance and frequent coughing made An Changqing incredibly concerned. "Have you seen a physician? Are you taking your medicine?" He could still remember how in his last life, when he had been married off, his mother's illness had taken a turn for the worse, and not long after, she had passed away. When he had heard the news, it had already been too late, for he hadn't even gotten to see his mother one last time. And Changqing lowered his eyes and said softly, "You've taken the same medicines all these years but never gotten better. Why don't I ask another physician to check you? It's been the same old sickness, changing another physician would not change anything." Lady Yu smiled, "As long as you and your sister are well, I'll be fine. I still have to see your sister get married." "Mother." And Xianyu, who was sitting next to her, called out shyly. Only in front of her close ones did she express herself freely. "Has the date already been set? Isn't it a little early?" And Changqing clenched his fingers looking at An Xianyu. Although timid and weak, she was still delicate and lively like a peony about to bloom, very much unlike the last time he had seen her in his previous life, withered and sickly. "It's already been fixed for the 5th day of the 3rd month. Lady Yu touched her daughter's head lovingly as she spoke with some reluctance. "Your sister will only be 15 after the new year. I wanted it to be later." But the Wu family was anxious. They said that there won't be any more auspicious days for another half a year. Your father and the old matriarch had also agreed. And Xiangyu's fiancé was Wu Wanshu, the third son of Marquis Wu and currently a third-rank official. Although his position was not high, he was charming with a good reputation for being a gentleman. They seemed to be a good match. Furthermore, the Wu and An families were in the same circle. Marrying within themselves was the perfect choice to prevent any secrets from slipping out. As a result, the two families had made this arrangement a long time ago. They were just waiting for An Xianyu to come of age. In his last life, An Changqing had also assumed that An Xianyu had found a good husband, but he regretted it when she had died less than 2 years later because of a miscarriage. At that time, An Changqing had once again been too late and could only see her one last time before she had passed away. According to the people from the Marquis Wu's manor, an ignorant servant had tripped An Xianyu over on an icy path that winter, resulting in her miscarriage. But An Changqing had never believed any of it. His sister, although 6 months pregnant, had been skinny and pale. He could clearly tell that her life in the manor had been difficult. An Changqing had then begun to investigate and found out that Wu Wanshu had a concubine that he treasured above all else. Because she was of common birth and he hadn't been allowed to make her the lady of the house. Shortly after marrying An Xianyu, he had brought his sweetheart into the main house, pampering her to the sky and ignoring his legitimate wife. The concubine had eventually become obnoxious and had no respect towards An Xianyu. Her miscarriage had also been orchestrated by her. An Xianyu had always been honest and respectful. She had no knowledge on how to curry favor or compete for her husband's attention. Living in the bitter environment, she had never once cried to her mother and brother. It was only after her death that An Changqing had come to know of her grievances. But at that time, An Changqing had been powerless. He could only watch as Wu Wanshu's concubine replaced his sister as the main wife. It was after Xiao Zhiga's ascension to the throne that he had punished the Marquis Wu's family for disrespecting the royal family and had his whole family beheaded. After hearing about their execution, An Changqing had been elated for a long time. In his opinion, Marquis Wu and the An family were all birds of a feather, respectable in appearance, but under those masks, they were all poisonous snakes. Neither was more decent than the other. Back then, they had let An Xianyu die and used a servant girl as a scapegoat, protecting a murderer. In this life, An Changqing would not let An Xianyu enter this fire pit. Moreover, he still wanted to pay them back for what they had done to her. After thinking for a bit, he came up with an idea. Seeing An Xianyu blushing, he believed he had to put this plan into action immediately lest she develop feelings for a worthless scum. An Changqing threaded carefully and said, "This marriage would have to wait. I heard a bad rumor regarding Wu Wanshu." Lady Yu was in doubt. "How's that possible?" "I had asked Anfu to make some inquiries before. Wu Wanshu has no concubines, he doesn't go to the brothels and is always busy with his duties. Moreover, Marquis Wu's family has always been void of scandals. I was uncertain, so I asked Wangye to check on them," and Changqing looked at Xiao Zhiga with guilty eyes. He stayed strong and kept to his story. It turned out that Wu Wanshu has been secretly keeping a lover. The both of them meet regularly and are extremely intimate. I'm afraid that you will be bullied after she marries there. It wasn't that he had wanted to use Xiao Zhiga's name, but Wu Wanshu was just too proficient at pretending and covering his tracks. If he did not see it with his own eyes, he would never believe that the Honorable Marquis Wu's manor was a place filled with such evil. And Wu Wanshu, the seemingly upright scholar, was an incredibly prejudiced person who would unconditionally pamper his mistress and mistreat his legal wife. If An Changqing had told this to his mother out of the blue, she would not believe him entirely, but if it came from Xiao Zhiga, then things would be different. Sure enough, Lady Yu grimaced and said, "Is that so? But everything's been decided, your father will not agree to annul this engagement." And Xianyu had turned pale. She nodded in silence while twisting her handkerchief. "I have a plan," and Changqing assured An Xianyu, "I will never let you marry into the Wu family." Lady Yu was about to say something, but seeing his determined look, she only touched his head gently, Nu No has grown up and can protect your sister now. And Changqing hugged her and said softly, Mother, look after yourself. I won't let anyone bully you and you again. Lady Yu patted him on the back and smiled. When they separated, both their eyes were slightly red. And Changqing still had much to say to his mother, but annulling and Xian Yu's engagement was more pressing. He had to put everything else aside first. Before leaving, and Changqing had left Zhao Shi behind. And Changqing saw Lady Yu's puzzled look and decided to tell her a little about his meeting with Changqi. Now that Changqi had lost an arm and the possibility of having any descendants, and Zhizhou and his wife would never let this matter go. They dare not touch Xiao's Higa and Changqing, so they could only vent their grievances against the helpless Lady Yu and Xian Yu. With Zhao Shi around, their safety could be guaranteed. After bidding his mother farewell, Changqing left for the front courtyard with Xiao's Higa. The two walked side by side in silence. Xiao's Higa was quiet as always, while Changqing kept glancing at him with uneasiness. After a long while, he stopped walking and finally voiced his concerns. Aren't you going to ask me? Xiao's Higa raised his brows and looked at him. About what? About investigating Wu Wanshu, and also regarding Zhao Shi. And Changqing had never asked Xiao's Higa to check on Wu Wanshu for him. Furthermore, as they had only reconciled last night, even if Xiao's Higa was willing to help, it would still be too late. I'll assign a few more people for you to use. The secrets of the Wu Manor are darker than you think. Xiao's Higa raised his hand to touch Changqing's head and coached, always strike where it truly hurts. Wu Wanshu is backed by Marquis Wu. If Marquis Wu doesn't fall, you cannot hope to destroy him. And Changqing looked at him in surprise. Xiao's Higa took his hand and continued walking. The hand around his wrist was rough but powerful. Xiao's Higa continued, as for Zhao Shi, I've already assigned him to you, you don't have to seek my approval about what to do with him. End chapter. The Tyrant's Beloved Empress. Chapter 9. You are my Wang Fei. Xiao's Higa led Changqing forward at a moderate pace. The man was tall and upright, much like the sharp spear behind him. Standing by his side, even without any words or action from him, could give Changqing an unparalleled sense of security. After taking another 2 steps, Changqing had to ask again, will you protect me no matter what I do? Xiao's Higa gave him a puzzled look and answered with certainty, of course. You are my Wang Fei. The man's expression was serious as he replied, as though it was a matter of fact. And Changqing secretly smiled and pulled him onto a different route. Let's not go back yet. Accompany me to the west courtyard. Xiao's Higa did not know his intentions, but he kept up with him. The An family lived in a 5-entrance manor. The old matriarch lived in the main courtyard, while the 2 eldest brothers, An Zhikao and An Zhizhou, lived in the east and west courtyards respectively. And Changqing led Xiao's Higa past a veranda and then through a flower gate before arriving at the west courtyard. The west courtyard was currently bustling with people and occasional cries could be heard. As Changqing and Xiao's Higa came in, the servants running about were taken aback, but they quickly recovered and continued their work, except for a well-dressed maidservant who stared at Changqing grudgingly. She bit her lips and pushed the other servants in front to enter the room. That's Changqi's handmaid and mistress, Fei Kui, and Changqing complained to Xiao's Higa, and Changqi's tricks against me were all thought up by her. Fei Kui was probably aware of Changqi's intention towards him, which was why she had never liked him. On the surface, she would give him advice on how to force Changqing into submission, while behind his back, she would find every opportunity to humiliate him. Back then, he was young and timid, he could only swallow the anger and endure the grievances in silence. But now, he knew someone was there to support him. The young man used a partly lamenting tone filled with coquettishness to voice his grievances to Xiao's Higa. The large eyes that looked at him were like those of a kid telling his family how he had been wronged. Xiao Zhiga's heart softened. He lightly squeezed the hand within his palm and whispered in his ears, "She reports to An Zhikao." And Changqing's eyes widened in surprise. This was not a good place to talk after all. Xiao Zhiga only pointed out, "She's a very useful pawn. Use her well and not only can you kill An Changqi but also drive a wedge between the An brothers." And Changqing had not fully digested the information and could not figure out a plan. He asked impatiently, "How?" "Think." Xiao Zhiga did not give him an immediate answer. Instead, he walked with him towards the room. Before An Changqing could ask further, he was interrupted by a roar. "How dare you even come here?" Madam Sun, An Zhizhou's wife, screamed and charged at An Changqing. "Whore! It was not enough that you seduced him, now you even did this to him. I want you to pay with your life." And Changqing could not react in time. He was about to have his eyes clawed out by the woman's sharp nails when he saw Xiao Zhiga shielding him, and the next moment, a kick had sent Madam Sun backwards into a rosewood chair. Xiao Zhiga had on a murderous expression. He warned, on the day Wang Fei came back to visit, and Changqi was not only impolite but he even dared to offend Wang Fei. This prince was lenient to merely cut off his hand and thing. If it wasn't for Wang Fei's plea, do you think he would still be alive? He cast an oppressive glare at Madam Sun, whose hair had now scattered messily over her forehead, and questioned her in a cold voice, "Or does Madam Sun think that this punishment was too light?" And Zhizhou helped his wife up, but her legs had turned soft. She wobbled and knelt on the ground. And Zhizhou also knelt and spoke in fear, "My wife is ignorant and she loves our son too much, she meant Wang Fei no disrespect. Wangye, please forgive her." Xiao Zhiga ignored the couple kneeling on the ground and turned to An Zhikao, "Prime Minister, and shouldn't only immerse yourself in work all day. It's about time you straighten out this family. Otherwise, sooner or later, the An legacy is bound to fall." And Zhikao pulled a black face and bowed, "This one will heed Wangye's advice." He then looked at An Changqing with intense dissatisfaction. However, with Xiao Zhiga present, he dared not step out of line and could only force a smile. "Is there anything else that Wang Fei needs?" And Changqing's purpose here was to find him, so he got straight to the point. "Lady Yu has been ill for a long time and her current medications are not helping. It just so happens that the Wang Manor has a skillful physician, and with Wang Ye's approval, I'll be bringing him here in 2 days to examine her." And Zhikao's eye twitched. Before he could respond, Madame Li interjected, "The doctor who gave Lady Yu the prescriptions is hailed from Duran Hall and has years of experience under his belt. Even if you change to doctor to someone else, I'm afraid we'll keep changing till we find someone who can treat her." And Changqing cut her off. "Father, don't you agree that this is a logical approach?" And Zhikao's face was turning worse by the minute. The one standing in front of him was no longer the outcast son of a concubine but the Wang Fei of the northern warlord. And Zhikao could only bow and agree, "It is indeed so." And Changqing slowly continued, "Aside from that, Linghong Garden is quite secluded and there's no one around." Wangye was concerned, so he had left Zhao Shi behind. And Zhikao's facial expression became distorted. He gritted his teeth for a while before responding, "That's how it should be, it's my negligence." After having achieved all his goals, An Changqing beamed with satisfaction. He said to An Zhizhou and his wife, who were still kneeling, "There's much to be done in the Wang Manor, I'll come back to visit my cousin some other day." Madame Sun's fingers dug deep into her skin, but she managed to remain silent. And Zhizhou hurriedly said, "We dare not trouble Wang Fei." And Changqing nodded politely and left with Xiao Zhiga. On the way back, An Changqing sat in the carriage as before, and Xiao Zhiga rode his horse alongside him. It was already late noon and the sun was hanging lazily in the winter sky, giving off a warm light. And Changqing lifted the carriage's curtain to look at Xiao Zhiga. The man was still wearing his clothes from this morning and sat tall and straight on a black horse. Against the light, and Changqing's sight was partially obscured, but he still thought that his husband looked particularly dashing. On one side of the street came the bustling noises from a certain store. And Changqing looked with curiosity and saw that San Wei's eye was written on the store's plaque. His eyes showed a hint of mischief. He reached out and tugged at Xiao's Higa's sleeve. I want to eat plum blossom cakes. Xiao's Higa stopped and looked at the young man who was giving him an expectant look. The orange sunlight fell on his face, giving it an angelic glow. I'll buy it for you, Xiao's Higa ordered for the carriage to stop. He got off his horse and walked towards San Wei's eye. San Wei's eye had good business and there was always a crowd in front of the store. But once Xiao's Higa entered the scene, the crowd parted like a sword had split the land to make way for him. Xiao's Higa was used to this reaction. He proceeded as usual to buy a freshly baked box of pastries. You can only have two, Xiao's Higa handed him the box and said, it's almost dinner time. The plum blossom cakes that were freshly baked were even more fragrant. And Changqing took a bite and sulked after hearing his words, it won't be as delicious when it's cooled. It'll be a waste. Xiao's Higa said, I'll buy it for you again. And Changqing shook his head. His eyes sparkled as he stretched out his hand and placed a piece in front of Xiao's Higa, share with me. Xiao's Higa looked at the plum blossom cake in his hand and reduced his speed. Soft gasps could be heard from behind them which made Changqing and Xiao's Higa to look back, but the people around them had then turned away instantly, pretending to mind their own business. And Changqing turned to Xiao's Higa and urged, eat, or it'll turn cold. Xiao's Higa could only lower his head and bite into the piece of cake in his hand. The pastry was little in size with stuffing made of plum blossom. There shouldn't be any sugar and yet a sense of sweetness flowed into his heart. Let's go back, Xiao's Higa cleared his throat, I'll eat those that you can't finish. And Changqing responded with an O and put another piece into his mouth. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Arriving at the Wang manor, Steward Wang went to greet them with a few servants. And Changqing stepped out of the carriage and noticed that he was limping. What's wrong with your leg? If you're not feeling well, you should take a rest. Steward Wang was at a loss for words. He did not know how to explain and could only look at Xiao's Higa. He was punished for his misdeed, Xiao's Higa said. And Changqing's eyes moved, but he did not ask further. He left for the main courtyard with Xiao's Higa. The two cleaned up while the servants prepared their dinner. When the food was served, and Changqing let the servants retreat as he was not used to having them around, leaving only Xiao's Higa and himself in the room. Xiao's Higa scooped a piece of fish and began picking the bones with a certain degree of seriousness. And Changqing looked at him and asked, is it because of me? Xiao's Higa looked up. Steward Wang's injury. Xiao's Higa nodded and continued with the task at hand, your homecoming gifts should have long been prepared. He neglected his duties, his punishment was just. What if I was also bullied by someone else in the manor? And Changqing leaned in and looked at him with bright, shiny eyes. Has someone bullied you? Xiao's Higa frowned. No. I'm only asking, and Changqing shook his head and smiled. Xiao's Higa's frown eased up, I will get rid of that person. But what if I want to personally teach them a lesson? Having felt the man's indulgence, and Changqing came out of his shell and wanted to test the man's bottom line. Personally teach them a lesson. Xiao's Higa was a little puzzled, there's a torture chamber in the manor, just get someone to deal with them for you. Xiao's Higa was hesitant to let Changqing have access to those places as he was too delicate. He feared that Changqing would hurt himself before he could do any teaching. And Changqing knew that Xiao's Higa had misunderstood and couldn't help laughing. He clarified his intentions, what I meant was, now that I'm your Wang Fei, I should learn how to take care of the Wang manor. Before you had to let Steward Wang handle everything because there was no one else to do it. Now, I would like to give it a try. He then looked at Xiao's Higa expectantly. Just as Changqing thought he wouldn't get his approval, Xiao's Higa said matter-of-factly, of course, the Wang manor is under your charge. You can do whatever you want. and Changqing was speechless. It took him some time to understand that this person's mentality was actually quite simple. Because he was his Wang Fei, it was needless to say that he would protect him. Because he was his Wang Fei, it was needless to say that the Wang manor was his to look after. Because of all these presumptions, Xiao Zhiga was always confused with An Changqing's requests. To him, whatever it was that An Changqing wanted, he would naturally comply because as his Wang Fei, he deserved everything that he could offer. Unfortunately, An Changqing did not realize this in his last life. His cowardice had made him pass over these opportunities. I understand, and Changqing smiled at him with eyes filled with radiance. Xiao Zhiga was infected by his smile and his lips slightly curved up. He placed the plate of boneless fish in front of him and said, "Let's eat." End chapter. The Tyrant's Beloved Empress. Chapter 10. Wangye warmed the bed. After dinner, Steward Wang came to report that they selected a few suitable new hires and asked when An Changqing would like to meet them. "An Changqing, I'll have a look tomorrow afternoon." Steward Wang bowed respectfully and was about to retreat when Xiao Zhiga stopped him. "Sort out the account books for the manor and the stores outside. From now on, Wang Fei will be in charge of them." Steward Wang had a change in expression. He wanted to say something but seeing Xiao Zhiga's decisiveness, he kept it in and bowed, "Yes, Your Highness." After Steward Wang left, An Changqing looked at Xiao Zhiga and smiled smugly, "You're giving me control over the businesses as well? Is Wangye not afraid that I will squander all your gold?" Xiao Zhiga was undressing when he heard An Changqing's words. He replied, "No." Briefly after, worrying that An Changqing would exercise undue caution, he added, "There is no shortage of gold in the manor." The smile on An Changqing's face widened. He rested his chin over his hand and looked at him. An Changqing had always known that the Wang manor housed a massive amount of wealth. In his last life, when Xiao Zhiga ascended the throne, the nation's treasury was almost empty due to the previous emperor's need for extravagance. At one point during the war against the Baidu people, there was not enough gold to procure rations for the soldiers. In the cold winter, the starving soldiers had to kill their war horses for food. Having heard the news, Xiao Zhiga donated chests upon chests of gold to the border to alleviate the ration problem. But even An Changqing, who was ignorant about war, knew that that was only enough for the soldiers to drink bland soup. Later, Xiao Zhiga had executed a group of corrupt ministers and seized their wealth. All the collected funds were then sent to the border. The battle, which had dragged out for months, eventually came to an end with the Deye soldiers being victorious. This was the reason why the 100,000 soldiers had been unshakably loyal to Xiao Zhiga. But at the same time, Xiao Zhiga's reputation as a tyrant had become worse amongst the common people. The ignorant citizens could only see the ruthlessness when he killed the ministers and confiscated their wealth, but they did not know that without the gold, the starving frontier soldiers would have lost the border war, allowing the barbaric Baidu people to charge right into Yejing. The events from the past stirred his heart. And Changqing looked at Xiao Zhiga and smiled warmly, "Since Wangye has put his trust in me, I will not disappoint you." Again, Xiao Zhiga did not want to put any pressure on An Changqing and simply said, "I will not be disappointed," before leaving to take a bath. When he was done, it was An Changqing's turn. After finishing his bath, An Changqing came out and saw that Xiao Zhiga was already lying in bed reading a book. Seeing An Changqing, he put the book away and patted the space next to him. "Come into bed, it's cold outside." There was heating in the room, but An Changqing did not refuse him. He obediently climbed into his side of the bed. It was then that he realized that the mattress was particularly warm. He looked up at the expressionless man and smiled. The northern warlord must have warmed the bed for him. After being together for 3 days, An Changqing found that Xiao Zhiga would only do things in silence. Unless he was asked, he would not mention it. What an awkward man. and Changqing pulled up the blanket, but despite being immersed in warmth, he still shifted towards Xiao's Higa all the way until he was in his arms. Feeling the heat against his body, Xiao's Higa was pleased yet helpless. He put out the light and hugged his Wang Fei back. "Sleep. I can't sleep." And Changqing, who was comfortably wrapped up by the warm body, whispered, "You haven't told me how I could use Fei Kui." Before, Xiao's Higa only told him to think about it and did not give him an answer yet. Xiao's Higa lowered his head and his chin rested nicely on Changqing's head. "What do you think?" And Changqing thought for a while and hesitated. "Design a plan to expose Fei Kui's identity to Zhizhou and his wife." Xiao's Higa shook his head. "Now's not the right time. Zhizhou can still easily make up excuses and it would not drive the brothers apart." "Then what should I do?" "Wait." Xiao's Higa replied, "Wait for Changqi's death, then divulge hints about Fei Kui's identity. Leave the rest to Zhizhou and his wife to find out. A lot of times, people are more prone to believe what they discovered by themselves. But what if Changqi doesn't die?" And Changqing was in doubt. Xiao's Higa looked towards him in the dark. "He won't live past tomorrow's night." The reason Xiao's Higa agreed to spare Changqi's life was that he had done the calculation. With a broken hand and the degree of amputation of his reproductive organ, unless the gods intervened, his death was ascertained. Zhizhou was inexperienced with medicine, but Xiao's Higa had been in the army for many years. He was quite well informed about the human anatomy. And Changqing widened his eyes in surprise. "So you've planned this ahead? But what if Zhizhou and his wife still sided with Zhizhou? After all, we don't have evidence that he had ordered her to do anything. The doctor who is treating Changqi comes from Duren Hall." Xiao's Higa felt the body in his arms getting closer with excitement. "Duren Hall is the property of Madame Li's maternal family." And Changqing was flabbergasted. Not to mention how Zhizhou would react. His wife, Madame Sun, who loved their son as dearly as her own life, would definitely find a place to vent her grief. She couldn't take it out on the northern warlord and his Wang Fei, but if at this time, she discovered that Fei Kui had been planted beside Changqi and had caused the dispute between Changqi and Changqing, she would definitely not let this go. As her suspicion grew, what would happen once she also found out that the doctor who had treated her precious son was related to Madame Li? Even without substantial evidence, she would still turn against Zhizhou. A scorned woman was difficult to deal with, especially one who had just lost her son. Besides, Zhizhou had always been dependent on his wife. When this matter turned for the worse, the entire household would not be able to live in peace. It was indeed killing two birds with one stone. After analyzing the situation, Changqing's eyes were filled with admiration towards Xiao's Higa. "Was that why you stopped me from killing him?" Xiao's Higa patted him on the back. With words meant as guidance, he said, "If you lose 800 just to kill 1,000, that's not a desirable outcome." And Changqing thought over his words and nodded, "I understand." Xiao's Higa touched his head. "Go to sleep. You'll be able to think clearer tomorrow." *****. The next day, Xiao's Higa had to leave for the barracks. After Changqing sent him out, Steward Wang brought the procureur to see him. The procureur brought with her 10 youths who were all carefully selected. Although they were wearing commoners' clothes, the boys all had a bright appearance. And Changqing interviewed each of them and picked out 4 honest-looking ones. He did not put them to work in the yard but instructed Steward Wang to find a mentor to teach them how to read. Steward Wang could not comprehend his intentions and thought that he was inexperienced with handling the servants. He advised, "They are just a few servants meant for labor work, teaching them how to read and write could make them sprout misguided ambitions. I have my methods. Steward Wang only needs to find them a mentor." Steward Wang had more to say, but thinking about Xiao's Higa's instructions yesterday, he could only keep silent. After arranging for the boys, Changqing continued, "When will the account books be ready?" Steward Wang hesitated. "It will take a while to get them all up to date." "It's all right, just send me those that are ready," and Chang Qing withdrew his smile and said solemnly, "Wangye has left me in charge of the Wang manor, I have to show him good results or else he'll blame me." Steward Wang's expression turned bitter. He knew Chang Qing was insinuating for him to do his job well. Based on his observations over the last few days, the new Wang Fei was very much pampered by Wangye, he would not do anything to upset him. Thinking of the shop's accounts, Steward Wang was sweating bullets. He bit his teeth and said, "In 3 days, I will instruct them to finish it and send it here." With that, Chang Qing was satisfied and let him leave. After lunch, Chang Qing went out with Anfu. The people Xiao Zhiga said he would allocate for him were still unavailable. While Zhao Shi was assigned to the An manor, he could only take Anfu along. Chang Qing got changed and left on a carriage to the western part of the city. In this area, there were brothels, gambling houses and other facilities that catered to people from all walks of life. Chang Qing entered a restaurant discreetly. He sat in a private room and sent Anfu to bring back a couple of older beggars. Anfu was puzzled. Lately, his master's reasoning had grown beyond his understanding, but it was not his place to question him. He nodded and did as he was told. Moments later, he came back with 2 beggars in tattered rags. Chang Qing was sitting behind a screen and the 2 beggars could only see his silhouette. They dared not linger their eyes on him and asked humbly, "How may we be of service to you, sire?" "The Marquis Wu's son, Wu Wanshu, do you know of him?" Chang Qing asked in a deep voice. The 2 beggars looked at each other and one of them answered cautiously, "We have heard of him." Chang Qing beckoned Anfu to hand them 5 taels of silver and said, "Follow him and tell me everything you find out. This is just the deposit. You'll receive 15 more once this is done." The 2 beggars' eyes were wide open seeing the 5 taels of silver. They kowtowed and thanked him several times. "Do not let him discover you." After taking the silver, the beggars set up a time and place to exchange the news with Anfu before leaving. After they left, Anfu was still doubtful, what information can 2 beggars find? Chang Qing assured him, they're more capable than anyone in gathering information. These beggars were found all over Yejing and formed a big network amongst themselves. The amount of information they could gather was quite impressive. In his last life, it was thanks to them that he learned the truth behind his sister's death and the hardship she had gone through in the Wu manor. At that time, Wu Wanshu had already officially brought his mistress into the main house and he had been unable to trace her background. This time, he would be able to do so with the beggar's help. Anfu was still muddled-headed. He scratched his head and chuckled. Chang Qing knew Anfu's brain capacity and did not elaborate further. Next, they left the restaurant and went to the eastern side of the city. Looking out from the carriage, Chang Qing ordered for the coachman to stop once he saw the high-hanging plaque of a large medical institute. Other than the matter concerning Wu Wanshu, this trip was also to find a doctor for his mother. Although he told Zhikao that he would be bringing a doctor from the Wang manor, the truth was, there was no such person. With his mother's background, it was impossible to have the imperial doctors treat her. He could only seek help from the renowned doctors in Yejing. He could still remember that his mother was in perfect health until he turned 10. It was after he had fallen ill that she had to take care of him for several nights without rest. When he finally woke up, her health had started deteriorating ever since. The doctors all claimed that she had been too worried for him, which had permanently damaged her internal health and could only take medicines consistently to cure her. Later, when Chang Qing was married off, his mother's illness had become worse and she had died shortly after. After unearthing the truth behind his sister's death, Chang Qing had learned that many things were more than what it seemed. He had always felt that his mother's illness was a little strange, and after his rebirth, he had decided to look into it. But after consulting with every doctor available, they all stated that there was nothing wrong with the prescription with respect to his mother's symptoms. End chapter.